9/11 plea deal. I remember we talked about this, but it was off, and now it's back on.
Yes, and in fact, if we could show first the tweet, Connor, would you mind showing Ted Cruz's tweet? Because this is Ted Cruz's tweet from August 6th of this year, right after they announced that the plea deal had been revoked. If you're unfamiliar with the plea deal, there was a plea deal on the table for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and two of the co-defendants in the 9/11 trials. They were going to plead guilty for planning and executing the 9/11 attacks, conspiring with al-Qaeda, providing material support to terrorism, including logistical and financial aid to carry out the attacks, and murder in violation of laws of war. So they were going to plead guilty to those four charges, and in exchange for their guilty plea, they would not receive the death penalty. August 6th of this year, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin revoked the plea agreement for the 9/11 masterminds. He stated that decisions of such gravity should rest with the Secretary of Defense, leading to his revocation of the plea agreement. Ted Cruz tweets this the day that the plea deal is released, or when they revoke the plea deal and it's announced. After verdict listeners called out the Biden-Harris administration plea deal with the 9/11 terrorists, they reversed course. This is only a political decision right before the election. If Kamala Harris wins, she will immediately reinstate the plea deal and ensure that the 9/11 terrorists never face the justice they deserve. The only way to ensure that the 9/11 terrorists receive the death penalty is to reelect Donald Trump. That's August 6th. Now let's go to Saturday's news article. This came out on the 9th, just 4 days after the most contentious election of our lifetimes. Lo and behold, Ted Cruz is right. U.S. plans to appeal judges' ruling following plea deals with alleged 9/11 conspirators. So they took the plea deal. They revoked the plea deal. They put the death penalty back on the table right before the election. Election happens. Now they go back and they reinstate the plea deal, and they're pausing the proceedings to see if they can get the plea deal reinstated. This way these scumbags don't face the death penalty, and instead they just get life in prison, so all of us have to pay for their...
You know what I would do if I was Trump? The day that I get in, Peter Hegseth is in charge of the defense secretary. I would be like, all right, guys, this is how we're going to do it. It's revoked, and you know how they're going to die? We're going to put them on the tallest building in New York, and we're going to push these two assholes off and let everybody sit there and watch. Yeah. No electric chair, no. You killed over 3,500 fathers and mothers and everybody. Bring your ass. Dude, I'm televising that.
Okay, so the actual death count on 9/11, 2,977 Americans were lost. Jeez. But then think about the American troops that died overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq. Whether or not 9/11 was directly related to the war in Iraq, there were hundreds of thousands of U.S. soldiers who have died over the 25 years that we have been involved in these wars. And these three guys are going to get to sit in prison cells for the rest of their lives. They get TV in there. They're going to have snacks. They'll get to eat. They'll get to go out and be in the yard once a day for a few hours. Like these people don't deserve to breathe another breath. And here we are, our own government is fighting for them to have a fair plea deal in which they then get to live. What plea deal did the people that had to jump from those buildings get? The people that were stuck inside of that building and had to decide, am I going to burn to death, die from smoke inhalation, or jump out of this building? And you saw them. Some of the most horrific images from 9/11. It's not the planes going to the buildings. They're terrible to watch. But it's the actual decision that these people had to make. Do I jump or do I die? Here. And the 9/11 jumpers it's some of the saddest footage you'll ever see. And these guys get to live in a prison for the rest of their lives. These people
and you're paying. And by the way, you guys are paying for them to eat, sleep, live, talk to whatever the hell they're doing. And Rob, not only were those videos messed up, there's one that haunts me to this day where the firemen are all hanging out in the lobby, and you just hear glass shattering, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" And it's people that can't take the heat up there that are jumping and they're hitting because the World Trade had glass on the bottom, and they were just dropping left and right, bro. And I'm sorry, as Christians, eye for an eye. The law says that guy should be freaking killed. Then we have to kill him. You know, none of this plea deal crap.
I want to ask Viva from a lawyer's standpoint, because I heard the quote is mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. Like, what does this say for the justice system of America? What's the message we're sending out there?
From a religious perspective, I think in Judaism there is a rule that you have to execute people within a certain proximity of the crime. Otherwise, you're not necessarily executing the same person.
We should have done it the moment we captured them.
Exactly. That this is justice or lack of justice drawn out for so long. My one question.
23 years.
23 years. My question, first of all, with Ted Cruz, It was Ted Cruz who made that choice.
Yes.
He was right, but wrong. It was going to happen regardless of whether or not Kamala got elected. And the fact that she didn't get elected gives the Biden regime an even greater cover. Screw it. They got nothing to lose. Let's just cut this deal for whatever the reason. In cutting this deal, did they not entirely avoid a trial, which would have revealed potential evidence that the families wanted to see? Is that not my recollection? Or that is my recollection? Is it wrong?
I don't know if there's going to be a trial. I would assume if they don't.
No, there is a deal. I think that this also bypasses any potential public trial that might reveal some facts that the government might not want to be
of
revealed.
course, government stuff. Saudi Arabia's involved.
So it's an injustice to everybody, but it was political from the get-go. Once that plea deal became public, obviously they're going to revoke it, and then after they've lost, they got nothing left to lose now, reinstate it, and don't have this go to trial in any meaningful, transparent way so people remain in the dark.
One of the things I'm wondering, now that we have Donald Trump as president-elect and you see the moves he's making for potential administration members, my question to you guys, what do you think is, for you, what is a priority for him to get to the bottom of? Is it COVID-19 and its origins? Is it the deplatforming and censorship of big tech? Is it the
Epstein?
Well, Epstein's there. You can do Epstein and Diddy in one.
JFK.
I guess JFK, 9/11, or vaccines.
Diddy's list.
What, like, to you guys, what is the most important that you think would have the most impact on this country for future change?
I right off the bat, I would say the JFK assassination, because they've been holding on to it for so long. We deserve it, and there's no more. Nobody else is alive that's involved in the investigation. But because Rob, we think, but deep down inside, I know that they're all involved, all these freaking agencies that we're talking about. And that's one of the reasons Trump didn't want to expose it, because, bro, if we find out today that the CIA and the FBI and the mafia, I can care less about the mafia, were involved with assassinating a sitting president for war and beneficial stuff, then the whole system has to collapse. Everything that we've ever been taught is all BS, because our government with Lyndon B. Johnson plotted and killed the president. End of story. What? That has to be the number one thing, because to me that's the oldest. That's the one that you have to start from there. That's the starting point.
But it's the oldest.
Oldest.
It happened 60 years ago. I agree it's important, and I agree dismantling the intelligence agencies that were almost undeniably responsible for Kennedy's assassination is super important. But to Rob's point, I think the joint problem of big tech censorship and the COVID scandal is the most effective way to start dismantling the people that are causing problems for us now. Because if you want to topple the CIA, that's a much bigger task than lock up Fauci for his crimes against humanity during COVID. Stop big tech from deplatforming independent journalists and people trying to expose the truth about the origins of the virus and the alleged efficacy of medical procedures that will remain unnamed.
You think that's bigger? I mean, I get a lot of more people.
I think it's bigger now.
But here's my thing, though. You think that, even though that's huge, you think that's bigger than killing and assassinating a sitting president?
Not in terms of the scope of the conspiracy, but that wasn't Rob's question. Rob's question was, what's more important to dismantle now?
I think what's most important for the future of our country. Well, I agree with JFK. Yeah. I almost side with Connor, because I go, hey, this is what we're dealing with now. We can't hold anybody accountable for JFK's assassination. Everybody's dead. Alan Dulles died 25, 30 years ago.
Knowing who killed Kennedy is great, but it's not going to make my life any better.
That's true.
Not having to worry about government vaccine mandates and losing my job over social media content.
If the CIA, the Department of Justice, and the FBI were involved, then those people, that group, has to go bye-bye, because that's your group did it. The FBI did it. The Department of Justice did it. The CIA did it. And that would give credence to Trump. Like, well, guess what? I talked about getting rid of all these people. Now they have to get got.
But you're gonna have a much harder time holding organizations accountable when you can't hold individuals accountable for anything.
If it comes out that the government was behind JFK's assassination and they were behind 9/11, does that change our day-to-day lives? We're angry. We want justice. But does that actually change the fundamental ways that this country operates?
Rob, I think you're looking at it kind of from the wrong perspective, because we are all here, and many of the people watching this show are pretty based. Like, if all of this information comes out, we'll feel vindicated. Yes, it'll make change in various ways, but we already know all of this stuff. All of us right now, I want you for 1 second to put your mindset in the perspective of a sheltered, deranged liberal. okay? Because all of these are paradigm-shattering occurrences. If it was to come out and be announced to all of these people that, yes, this did happen, which one of those situations do you think would actually affect a liberal who doesn't believe any of these things and sees it as highly conspiratorial?
I'll float an answer that hasn't been floated. I think it would be the Epstein list. That would be the most paradigm-shifting revelation, because I think, first of all, it plays into the COVID scamdemic, in that if we were to find out that politics and science was actually the result of blackmail and extortion, because foreign aid. Well, Hunter, we got videos of you doing things with hypothetically. I'm not saying that this happened.
No, you're still allegedly.
You better fund Ukraine indefinitely. What's that? Monica's got some dirt on Bill. Well, you'd better agree to certain deals with certain foreign leaders as relates to foreign aid. Or we need some COVID stuff to go a certain way. Well, what's that? Hawkins is one of the scientists. What's that, Mr. Scientist? We got a video of you at Epstein's Island. You'd better say this is safe and effective. I have a feeling that if people were to find out or learn that the bulk of foreign policy, domestic policy, science was the result of blackmail and extortion, a lot of house would be cleaned, and it would work its way. Everybody already knows the CIA or intelligence was behind the assassination of JFK or the cover-up, and so that's baked into the equation already. Yeah. The Epstein list, when you would find out hypothetically who might be on that list, it would change the way you view world politics.
Like if you found out, like, by the way, if there is, which I could believe whatever I want to believe. If you believe that there is video footage, which I think it's probably out there, of Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, again, this is all hypothetical, allegedly, who knows, maybe, because the tapes are out there. We just haven't seen 1 second of one video. Ghislaine Maxwell's doing 25 years in prison for all this crap, not one. If that does come out, if we got to see one clip, like, what would happen if we saw one video, like a 2-minute clip of a Bill Clinton in a room with like an underage girl? Yeah, what would happen?
Well, I mean, you've seen photos of him getting massaged by one.
Yeah, of course.
And nothing ever changed. But I do agree, because it also taps into the big tech when you talk about Reid Hoffman and him allegedly being on that list. So how far do those tentacles spread, and how far back do they actually?
Oh my God, Rob, for ages, eons.
I have to disagree with all of you. I think I will go COVID, China first.
Really?
100%. I'm still bitter. Like the measures, they killed my grandfather. Like, he was a healthy lawyer that will go to his office. He was 86. He will get up in the morning, and once they locked him up, it took 1.5 years for him to die. All right? And he wasn't sick. He wasn't anything. But having an 85-year-old locked up in the house because of these measures that turned out to not be true. Even Fauci admitted that the social distancing was bullshit. The mask was bullshit. The mandates were bullshit. So I feel as a victim right now, and I want justice. And that's the biggest piece of justice that we can serve right now.
I agree with you. And I think that to the point that I was making about which one would actually affect the paradigms of these liberals the most, they all bought into this COVID thing so much. And it gave them this feeling of them being this social justice warrior. They had moral superiority over everybody, right? So I think that would like crush their paradigm so much, realizing that they were wrong, that they would actually open up their eyes to look at other things and see if and where they've been wrong also.
And I wish, Rob, the great freaking point. I mean, I just wish now, because think about it. Now he has the manpower. I think he could knock out 3 or 4 of those like that, bro. Release the freaking files. We know, by the way, this isn't a think anymore. We know this thing came out of China. I don't even want to say the words of what it is. This virus came out of China from a lab that we fucking own with Dr. Fauci, who lied in Congress, who lied about it. So he's in with the lie. And dude, the timing of it couldn't be more perfect. And the Epstein list, anything that has to do with underage children, and because I think that, Dave, is so much bigger. When you hear about all these cabals and Pizzagate, and then they throw them away, they're like, whatever, but then you have Chrissy Teigen talking about girls with splits, and their perversion is out in the open. Nobody deletes 60,000 tweets unless you're a disgusting human being, which she is. And I want accountability for all of them, and I think, you know how they were talking about us giving aid to Ukraine and all the government officials, like, well, America, we could chew bubble gum and do, then guess what? We could put everybody on that. I want 5 different situations, release the list, put China accountable, have the Epstein list released. That doesn't take years to do. Yeah. Do it when you come into office. What are we waiting for?
But the thing is that I don't think we were able to expose all the people involved.
I think that you don't do it. You don't think they? I think they know.
I think
we know.
I think we could have the videos and everyone named and everyone jailed that participated in the activities, but I don't think they're ready to open the bigger can of worms.
Which is what?
Like, I don't know. Like, there might be something way deeper.
Okay, well, here's my question to you, because I want to go to Viva's story. I want to hurry up. Where are the tapes? Who? Because they exist. Who has all the video, Rob? Where right now? Where are all the tapes of Epstein's years of footage? Is it with Mossad? Is it with the CIA? Is it with the FBI? By the way, they exist and they haven't been destroyed. Where are they?
No, like, hey, we really don't feel like signing the Paris Accords. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you forget about that video that we have? You'll sign it.
Exactly.
And you will dictate foreign and domestic policy because we have you by the balls.
Somebody has, by the way, somebody has those tapes.
Vinny, you know about the problem with the chain of custody with the Epstein tapes, right? Like, there was a safe in his residence that they were trying to get access to.
Okay.
They said, oh, we can't bust that open. We need to come back with a warrant. And they left it unguarded for like 2 days.
And what
when they
happened?
came back, it was empty.
Oh, weird.
And this is, just the chain of custody that we're supposed to believe played out, no problem whatsoever. And we just left it open, but we couldn't take anything out.
That's such a coincidence. Just like the cameras in Epstein's prison, they were off that day, and the guards. It's all BS. But anyway, I'm gonna digress. So if you like this clip, click right here, and if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.